In Afghanistan, a sapper patrol is on its way to repair a stranded convoy. The combat engineer steps out of the vehicle and yells, asking which moron is responsible for the clusterfuck that ruined his day. The squad leader steps forward and admits it was him. It quickly becomes clear that the two are actually brothers. Then he teaches his little brother about the laws of science, specifically thermodynamics, saying that energy can't be created or destroyed, so it has to go somewhere. By filling the convoy trucks with stop leak, they essentially block the vents, causing heat to build up until the radiator blew. Then he jokingly tells his brother he knew it had to be his bright idea to pour stop leak into the truck. His brother sighs, admitting this isn't what he really wants to be doing. He reminds him that their dream was always to be selected for RASP, even showing the matching tattoos they got that reads, "Don't fucking quit." But the older brother scoffs, saying he's already too old and that the program is extremely hardcore. He also points out that they were only 18 when they made that promise. Still, his brother tells him to imagine the feeling of earning their own Ranger scrolls and the pride that comes with being a Ranger. Eventually, he manages to convince his brother, but moments later, the Taliban suddenly attack the convoys. In the brutal firefight that follows, almost all the soldiers are killed. With his knee badly injured, he drags himself toward his brother. 2 years later, he is now on a bus heading to the Army Ranger selection base in Colorado. The cadre instruct the candidates to head to the induction hall and turn over all their personal belongings. From this point on, they're told they no longer have names, only numbers. One of the sergeants notices that a candidate is a technical sergeant in the Air Force and tells him he will be assigned as a team leader. The candidate acknowledges this and is given the number 7. In another line, a sergeant reviews his application and notices that, because of a previous leg injury, he had been denied 4 times before finally meeting the age cutoff. The sergeant informs him that, as a patrol leader, he'll be expected to lead the team, but he turns down the offer. He is assigned number 81. Sergeant Major Sheridan then addresses the candidates. He explains that Army Rangers are essentially the spearhead of the United States Army, the first soldiers deployed on the ground, and that RASP is one of the toughest selection programs in the world, designed to push candidates to their mental, emotional, and physical limits over 8 grueling weeks. Only those who reach the final stage will face the 24-hour death march, a grueling mission completed by crossing that finish line, after which they can earn the coveted Ranger Scroll. With that, the program officially begins. During the first week, several candidates are eliminated. The next 3 weeks are filled with brutal obstacle courses and exhausting drills, and anyone who fails to meet the standards is immediately cut from the program. Now, only 4 weeks remain. During one of the long marches, 15 tells the others that if they make it into the regiment, they'll gain access to top-secret information, like Area 51 and even hidden truths about the moon landing. The other candidates simply scoff at the idea. Meanwhile, 81 strays from the group, quietly completes his lap, and then returns.
Hey, slow down, Superman. Making the rest of us look bad.
Another week passes. During rifle training, a sergeant asks how many candidates have actually deployed in combat. The sergeant mocks him, saying he asked about deployment, not potty training. After questioning a few others and still not getting a satisfying answer,
12 Bravo,
the sergeant turns to 81.
10th Mountain Division, Spartans.
Everyone turns to look at him. Later, during lunch, 44 tells the group how 81 was repairing a stranded convoy when the Taliban suddenly launched a devastating attack, wiping out entire unit. 60 adds that 81 also received a Silver Star. Meanwhile, on a television nearby, a news reporter announces that NASA has detected an interstellar object originating from outside the solar system. The object is expected to pass near Earth, but officials insist there is no cause for concern. 15 can't believe that 81 received a Silver Star. 44 explains that he was the only survivor who carried his brother nearly 10 miles back to a military base. Curious, 15 directly asks 81 if the story is true. A sergeant immediately notices them talking and reminds them that speaking isn't allowed. As punishment, he assigns everyone extra hill climbs. The next 2 weeks begin with even tougher training. During one exercise, a cadre asks the candidates why they are here. Most of them answer that they want to join an elite unit, but 81 gives a different answer. He simply says he wants to cross the finish line. That night, 7 notices 81 taking his PTSD medication. The next morning, 7 asks if DFQ means don't fucking quit. 81 looks surprised and asks how he knows. 7 shrugs and says he just guessed. By week 6, the candidates go through rope climbing, breaching drills, and rifle training. Many of them fail and are eliminated from the program. One night, 81 is haunted by a nightmare. He wakes up suddenly just as the sergeant storms in and orders everyone to get up, announcing that the final week has begun. During the next challenge, the candidates must walk underwater in the pool while carrying weights. Many of them surface early. As 81 struggles underwater, he begins thinking about his little brother. The memory pushes him forward, but eventually, he loses consciousness and is pulled out by 7. Sheridan tells First Sergeant Torres that he wants to speak with 81, saying the candidate seems to be a liability. In the waiting room, 81 watches the news. A reporter explains that the asteroid discovered a month earlier is now showing signs of structural fragmentation. He is then called in. Sheridan tells 81 that it may be best for him to retire from the program. 81 argues that he hasn't failed any events.
Stay down, soldier!
Torres explains that they aren't concerned about his physical strength, but are rather worried about what's going on inside his head. Torres says that the training cadre officers informed them that 81 hasn't been sleeping well, and according to peer reviews, he isn't bonding with the other candidates. Torres adds that he avoids every opportunity to be a team leader, saying it isn't the hallmark of a stable candidate.
From the course, effective, immediate.
Sheridan speaks up, pointing out that what he went through is a lot for anyone to handle. He explains that most people in his position would have taken time off and attended therapy. Instead, after the incident in Afghanistan, he began applying for this program on the very morning of his discharge. 81 quietly replies that he just wants to cross the finish line. Sheridan then tells him that both he and Torres believe he is a promising candidate. However, he warns that if they remove him from the program now, he will never be allowed to return. So he places a voluntary withdrawal slip in front of him. Sheridan reminds him that he's an engineer, and as such, he should know that even the most powerful machine has its limits, and he has reached his. But 81 refuses. In the end, only a handful of candidates, including 81, make it to the final round. Torres then explains the details of the final mission, which will be a simulation. A classified aircraft has been shot down behind enemy lines, and the Rangers are tasked with carrying out a reconnaissance and rescue mission. Their objective is to locate the crash site and destroy the aircraft before it falls into enemy hands. 2 Black Hawk helicopters will drop them deep inside enemy territory. From there, they must navigate through the mountains to reach the downed aircraft. Their next objective is to locate the pilot, who is being held prisoner in a nearby village. Torres explains that their rifles will only fire blanks, but the cadre may ambush them at any time during the mission. The squad will be given a single VHF radio to send regular situation reports. He then announces that 81 will serve as the team leader. 15 sarcastically remarks, "Great, the finish line guy." Torres reminds them that they have 24 hours to rescue the pilot, return to base, and cross the finish line. If they fail or get captured during a cadre ambush, the mission will be considered a failure. Sheridan adds that if they successfully cross the finish line, they will earn their Ranger Scrolls. The Death March mission officially begins. The Blackhawks drop the team deep into the Rocky Mountains. After landing, the team regroups and heads into the forest. 57 studies the map and tells the others that their target location is about 20 clicks west. 81 sets the watch to 24 hours and asks if anyone has any questions. Everyone stays silent. Then 7 stands up and tells the group that they are all here for a reason, and their goal is to earn the Ranger Scrolls together. 81 nods appreciatively at 7, and the team continues their journey. They climb up a rocky mountain and reach the top. Soon, evening slowly turns into night. 111 sends their situation reports to the cadre over the radio. 7 suggests that they take a short rest, pointing out that the cadre might be waiting near the river to ambush them. 81 agrees, saying they'll rest for only 20 minutes. While the others sleep, 81 stays on guard. 7 asks if he can ask him a personal question, but 81 simply replies, "No." The team assumes the cadres must have noticed them stopping and used the flares. 81 immediately orders everyone to move. By morning, they finally spot the wreckage of the downed aircraft. 7 jokes that the cadres really went all out with the special effects. 81 warns that the cadres are probably waiting to ambush them upriver. He instructs 111 to send another situation report. Then he quickly lays out a plan. The demolition team will place explosives on the aircraft and detonate them from a safe distance. The explosion will likely draw the cadres' attention. So, He assigns 4 soldiers to provide overwatch, places 3 soldiers downstream, and rest of them upstream. Then 57 points out something strange. According to the briefing coordinates, the target position is off by a few hundred meters. He also adds that his compass has started acting strangely. 1011 informs the team that he couldn't get a signal, only a strange sound. Despite that, the team continues with the plan. As everyone moves into position, 81 suddenly notices a brief glint of light in the distance. He quietly signals to 7 that he's going to check it out. He heads deeper into the woods while the demolition team prepares the explosives. Moments later, 81 discovers what appears to be their real target. But by then, it's already too late. The team detonates the explosives. 81 runs back to warn the team.
Didn't even leave a dent.
Suddenly, a strange machine with glowing red lights rises. It scans their faces with bright beams and then suddenly opens fire, killing several soldiers. 81 immediately orders everyone to run. They sprint through the forest but soon reach a dead end. The machine launches a bomb that explodes nearby, sending the remaining soldiers tumbling down a steep hill, leaving them injured. For a brief moment, 81's mind flashes back to Afghanistan, but he forces himself to focus on the present. He rushes to help 57, who has been impaled on a tree branch. 109 panics, saying the wound looks terrible, but 81 tells him to breathe and focus. During the fall, 7's leg is badly injured. The surviving soldiers are stunned by the mysterious machine that just wiped out half their team. 81 asks them if the demo team survived. They say no. 81 goes to search for the radio. Moving carefully through the smoldering debris, he finds 111 dead and the radio completely destroyed. Just then, 81 sees the machine killing another soldier. Unfortunately, 57 dies from his injuries. 81 soon returns, urgently telling them they have to move because the machine can follow their trail. He informs them that 111 is dead and the radio is destroyed. They tie a rope down the cliff and begin lowering themselves one by one. 6 offers to lower 7, and 81 nods before climbing down first. But just as 7 is being slowly lowered, the machine finds them. It fires again, killing 6, and 7 crashes hard onto the ground below. The machine moves to the edge of the cliff and scans the area. Unfortunately, 7's leg is detected. The machine immediately opens fire, forcing the team to scatter and hide. Moments later, it launches several bombs that explode around them, killing even more soldiers. After hours of walking, the team finally stops to rest. When 81 notices blood on 7's leg, he panics for a moment. 7 assures him. Then he asks 109 for morphine. Unfortunately, the container was damaged during the fall. With no other choice, 81 counts to 3 and snaps the leg back into place. The pain is so intense that 7 passes out. 15 suggests that the machine's weapons look extremely advanced, so maybe it's some secret experiment by DARPA. But 44 shuts him down, saying the Department of Defense would never do something like this to their own soldiers and tells him to stop with his conspiracy theories. 15 fires back, asking why they were sent straight to the machine's location then. 81 reveals that, earlier, he actually spotted the real crash site. An old jet, just like 57 suspected. Their coordinates were way off.
A few hundred meters.
81 explains that the machine must be producing a strong magnetic field, which is why their compasses started malfunctioning whenever it's nearby. He then tells the team they need to head toward the village, which is 8 clicks west. 15 argues that there's no RASP, no finish line anymore. But 81 calmly replies that with no comms, no working weapons, and no flares, the closest help they have is the cadres stationed in that village. About an hour later, they reach a river with a powerful current. 81 informs the team that they'll have to use their ropes to create a zip line across the river. He decides to cross first to secure the line on the other side. Before going, he tells 109 to keep an eye on the compass. Then he asks 44 to hand him the rope and give it a little slack, since the current will push him hard. 81 struggles against the rushing water, and for a moment he disappears beneath the surface. Then suddenly, he emerges on the opposite bank. 81 secures the rope and soon the team successfully sets up the zip line. First, 7 and 15 begin crossing. Halfway across, however, 7 gets stuck in the middle. 15 tries to untangle the line, but in the process he accidentally unbuckles 7's safety strap. Seeing this, 81 quickly starts moving across to help. 44 also rushes to assist. At that exact moment, the machine suddenly appears and opens fire. The soldiers lose their balance and fall into the raging river. The machine steps into the water and continues attacking them. 81's rope gets caught on a rock, so he quickly cuts himself free. Just then, the machine fires again, blasting him several meters away. Through the rushing water, 81 spots 7 and grabs onto him. A moment later, the remaining soldiers are swept over a waterfall. Underwater, 81 holds tightly onto 7. Minutes later, they are pulled out of the water by other soldiers. 44 stares in shock when she sees 60 because they assumed he was dead. 60 explains that when the machine first attacked them, he was knocked into the rapids and carried far downstream. Then he decided to head toward the village, and that's when he spotted the team crossing the river. He also reveals that earlier, he saw the operation plan inside Torres's office.
All they had scheduled for us was fireworks and booby traps.
Suddenly, a loud screech of the birds echoes in the distance. 81 immediately tells everyone they need to move. They climb through the rough mountains and push deeper into the thick woods. Soon, 81 notices a flare setup, likely placed there by the cadres. But when they finally reach the supposed village, they find it completely burned down. Ammunition and debris are scattered everywhere. 44 notices that the radio tower has been destroyed, which explains why their long-range communications stopped working. 60 angrily shouts that the cadres must have abandoned them, but 44 quietly replies that they didn't leave.
How high have we climbed?
About 6,500 feet, roughly 8 clicks west, 44 replies. He says the machine must have struck this station first, then moved to the riverbank. That means it came down from that mountain. 60 also points out that they saw news reports about an asteroid earlier and thinks this machine must be connected to it. Suddenly, they hear heavy breathing nearby. They rush over and discover one of the cadres still alive, but only barely. Unfortunately, he dies moments later. 81 orders them to get the ASV on the ground. 15 pushes back, saying they need a moment to grieve, insisting that unlike him, they're human and need time to process things. He points out that not everyone is some silver fucking hero who carried his brother all the way back to base. 81 snaps, explaining he never made it back to base. He passed out 100 yards from the perimeter, and the next thing he knew, he was waking up in a hospital. His brother didn't survive, as he couldn't carry him across the line in time.
And they gave me a medal for the worst day of my life.
He tells them he knows they're hurting, but right now it's not about them. They have to get 7 back to base and warn everyone about the machine. Determined, the team try to start up the truck, but the engine won't turn over. 81 says that because the truck was in a slanted position, the fuel line might have dried out. 15 immediately says they just need to reprime the lines. When 81 looks at him in surprise, 15 explains that he used to be a wheel mechanic. A moment later, the engine roars to life. They manage to free the truck that was wedged between the rocks.
Nice work, Superman. Making the rest of us look bad. Holy shit. 81 made a joke.
Suddenly, the machine appears, launching bombs toward them. 60 informs 81 that the truck has no ammo loaded. 15 volunteers to go back and get it, despite 81 ordering him not to. 15 grabs the ammo and runs back, just as a shot hits him. 44 floors the truck, pushing the vehicle as hard as it will go. They load the ammunition and open fire on the machine, but no matter how many shots they land, it doesn't seem to take any damage. The truck quickly becomes heavily damaged. Then the machine suddenly stops advancing toward them, and instead launches a barrage of bombs. 44 struggles to control the vehicle as explosions detonate all around them. Then she steers the truck through the dense forest. For a brief moment, everyone breathes a sigh of relief when they can't see the machine anymore. But the relief doesn't last. The machine was waiting for them at the top of the mountain. It suddenly launches itself down the slope and begins attacking them again. 81 tells 109 to aim for the gap between the machine's plates. 109 tries to get a clear shot, but in the process he loses his arm. The machine proves to be far too powerful. During the chaos, 81 also loses 7. Desperate, he grabs a gun and fires at the rocks, triggering a small rock slide that crashes onto the machine. He shouts for 44 to stop the truck, but when he looks over, he realizes she's already dead. Moments later, the truck crashes and explodes.
Don't fucking quit.
Sometime later, 81 regains consciousness and slowly makes his way across the rough terrain, passing the bodies of his fallen teammates. When he reaches the rocks, he notices the machine is missing its other half, and then he spots that half in the distance, communicating with something in outer space. A few feet away, he spots 7, still alive. The machine begins moving toward them, so 81 drags 7 to a safer spot. At that moment, the rain begins to pour, making the climb even harder. Exhausted and overwhelmed, 81 screams in pain and frustration. Then his watch beeps. The 24 hours for completing the mission have officially run out. He breaks down and cries. 7 weakly speaks up, telling 81 that he knew who he was the moment he saw him on the bus. Years ago, he went through air assault training with a loudmouth private, 81's brother. Back then, his brother had talked non-stop about his dream of becoming an Army Ranger alongside 81, and about the matching tattoo they both got. 81 asks why 7 never told him earlier. 7 says he tried, but 81 never wanted to talk. 81 admits that if he could just cross the finish line for his brother, maybe he could finally sleep at night. 7 asks if he thinks he failed his brother. 81 says he didn't just fail his brother, he feels like he failed everyone around him. 7 reminds him that despite everything, he never gave up. The machine soon approaches their location. 81 wonders aloud how they could possibly stop something like that. 7 asks him what his brother would do, probably fill it with stop leak and hope for the best, 81 mutters. But the joke gives 81 an idea. He tells 7 to stay put and wait for him. 81 climbs down into the quarry and enters the building. Inside, he gathers some explosives. Then he finds the controls for a massive stone crusher and switches it on. Meanwhile, the machine reaches 7. Just before it attacks, 81 makes a loud noise to get its attention. The machine turns and begins moving toward the building instead. As it scans the structure, the explosives planted by 81 detonate. 81 quickly jumps into a bulldozer and rams the machine, pinning it against the mountainside. As the stone crusher runs, rocks pour down and block the machine's venting system, causing it to overheat and overload. He jumps out of the vehicle just seconds before the machine explodes into pieces. But the bombs inside the machine spill out and scatter across the ground. The next morning, 81 carries 7 all the way back to base and finally crosses the finish line. Sheridan and Torres watch in stunned silence. 81 spots the destroyed pieces of the machine being carried away by the copter. Sheridan steps out and asks if he's the only candidate remaining. 81 solemnly nods. Sheridan then apologizes for not reaching them sooner. He explains that the machines have already destroyed most of their bases, and this is the only one they've managed to secure. 81 asks, "How many are there?" Sheridan answers grimly. "They're everywhere." He explains that they managed to neutralize the first wave, but intelligence suggests a much larger global invasion is being prepared. A news report soon confirms the terrifying truth. NASA reveals that the asteroid had split into countless pods, now scattered across the globe. Each pod transformed into a deadly machine, attacking civilians and military bases alike. Satellite images reveal that more pods are still approaching Earth. Governments around the world are now launching a coordinated global response to defend the planet. Impressed, Sheridan asks 81 how he managed to destroy the machine without any real weapons. 81 reminds Sheridan of something he once said. Every machine has its limits. He explains that by choking the machine's primary venting port, the entire system overheats and collapses. He tells 81 that this intel could save a lot of lives. Then, 81 admits that Sheridan was right about him earlier. He wasn't ready. Sheridan promotes him on the spot, saying that now he is. He adds that his brother would be proud of him.
They're all talking about what you did out there. If you got it in you, son, I'm sure they'd appreciate a few words.
Sheridan then gathers the Rangers and announces that they are the spearhead of Operation Global Shield, which has just gone live. They will be dropped on the outskirts of the city, and their mission is to evacuate civilians and clear the way for heavy ordnance. Sheridan looks at 81, and he steps forward to address the Rangers. He tells them that no matter how hurt they are, and no matter how tired they feel, they must never give up. Moments later, the Rangers board the Black Hawk helicopters. Midway through the flight, the team leader begins calling out the Rangers' names. But when he gets to 81, he realizes he doesn't actually know his name.